My name is Evelyn Porter, and at 62 years old, I've lived long enough to know that power corrupts quietly until someone shines a light on it. I reside in a charming colonial home in Chevy Chase, Maryland, just outside Washington, D.C., where the air always smells faintly of cherry blossoms in spring and ambition year-round. I've called this place home since my husband, Thomas, a career Foreign Service officer, passed away 10 years ago from cancer. We raised our son Marcus here, sending him to public schools despite the private academy offers from Thomas's diplomat colleagues. I wanted him grounded, not entitled. After Thomas died, I worked as an administrative assistant at the State Department until retirement, pinching pennies to keep the house and support Marcus through college. He became a high school history teacher in Arlington, Virginia, passionate, dedicated, the kind of man who stays late to tutor kids who need it most. This story is about Marcus's wedding to Claire Kline, and how a father's toast unraveled a carefully constructed facade of political integrity. It began 3 years ago, in the fall of 2022, when Marcus met Claire at a volunteer event for a local literacy program. Claire was 29, sharp as a tack, with dark curls and a laugh that carried across rooms. She worked as a policy analyst for a nonprofit focused on education reform. They bonded over shared ideals: better schools, equal opportunity, and, soon, were inseparable. Marcus brought her home for Sunday dinner: roast chicken, my famous cornbread, and apple pie. "Mom, Claire gets it," he said, eyes shining. "She's not about the DC game. She wants real change." I liked Claire immediately. She helped with dishes without prompting and asked about Thomas's postings in Africa, genuinely interested. But when she mentioned her family, a shadow crossed her face. "Dad's intense. Congressman Harold Kline represents Virginia's 10th District." Harold Kline was a rising star in Republican circles, chair of a key subcommittee, frequent Fox News guest, champion of family values and fiscal responsibility. His billboards dotted Northern Virginia highways, his face stern and trustworthy. "He's supportive," Claire said hesitantly, "but he has opinions on everything." Those opinions surfaced early. At their first family dinner at the Klines' McLean mansion, marble floors, original art, a wine cellar bigger than my living room, Harold grilled Marcus. "Teaching, noble son, but pays peanuts. Ever think about law, lobbying, real influence?" Marcus politely deflected. "Sir, I love the classroom. Shaping young minds, that's influence." Harold chuckled. "Idealistic. Cute, but ideals don't pay for this lifestyle." Claire shot him a look. "Dad, stop." Elaine, Harold's wife, a polished socialite, smoothed it over with dessert, but I saw Marcus's jaw tighten. As the engagement unfolded, Marcus proposed on a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Harold took control. "Wedding at the Hayadams, overlooking the White House." "My treat." Marcus offered to contribute. "Sir, I'd like to pay my share." Harold waved it off. "Boy, your teacher's salary wouldn't cover the flowers. Let the adults handle it." The digs continued. "At suit fittings, hope it fits your budget. At venue tours, Claire's used to the best, hope you can keep up." Claire confided in me over tea one afternoon. "Mom, can I call you that? Dad's always been like this. Measures people by net worth. He wanted me to marry a donor's son." I hugged her. "Honey, Marcus measures by character. That's rarer in this town." But the barbs stung. Marcus lost sleep, questioning if he was enough. I reassured him, but doubt gnawed at me too. Harold's family values platform felt hypocritical, his perfect image to curate it. DC thrives on secrets. Politicians like Harold often hid skeletons. One night, scrolling news on my tablet, I saw a buried article. Anonymous tips about Kline's campaign funds misused. Nothing stuck, but it planted a seed. I confided in Barbara, my old State Department colleague, now retired. Over coffee in Georgetown, I vented. "Barbara, Harold's too slick. Something's off." She nodded. "Evelyn, I've heard whispers kickbacks from defense contractors, campaign money funneled personally." It was enough. I hired a private investigator, Victor Lang, discreet, ex-FBI. We met at a quiet cafe in Bethesda. I handed him $6,000, my emergency fund. "Dig into Congressman Harold Kline." "Everything," Victor delivered 2 weeks later, enveloped thick as a novel. "Evelyn, this guy's dirty as the Potomac after rain." Proof piled high. Harold accepted illegal kickbacks from lobbyists, $500,000 in consulting fees for steering contracts, campaign funds diverted to personal use, luxury vacations billed as constituent meetings, a Florida condo for retreats, affairs tutu with staffers, hushed with NDAs and payouts from a slush fund, emails, bank records, Hotel receipts all damning. Federal investigators were circling, one leak away from indictment. I locked it in my safe. Torn. Tell Marcus. Risk the wedding. Claire loved her dad despite flaws. I waited, hoping Harold would behave. The wedding was June splendor. National Cathedral ceremony, Hadam's reception with views of the White House. Claire glowed. Marcus beamed. Vows heartfelt in sickness and health, for richer or poorer. I teared up, thinking we'd cleared the hurdles. Toasts at reception, champagne flowing, string quartet playing. Harold last, mic in hand, voice booming, to my brilliant Claire, who's always deserved the pinnacle, and to Marcus. Noble profession, teaching, adequate, I suppose, punching way above his weight, but idealistic. Laughter from his political cronies. Marcus flushed crimson, smile frozen. Claire whispered frantically. Guests chuckled. But I saw humiliation crush my son. Enough. I stood, heels clicking on marble. Room hushed as I approached stage. Harold smirked. Evelyn. Words of wisdom. Yes, I said, taking my Harold speaks of deserving the best. Let's examine his worth. I revealed docs, kickback emails, condo deeds, affair receipts. Congressman Kline preaches family values while taking bribes, misusing funds, cheating on Elaine. Gasps. Proof here millions, siphoned affairs covered up. Ethics committee knows. DOJ to Harold blustered. Fabrications. Security. But guests journalists among them filmed tweeted. Elaine sobbed, fleeing. Claire confronted. Dad. Marcus stood firm beside her. Chaos. Reception ended early. Harold's arrest hit news next day. Resigned in disgrace. Indicted on corruption. Embezzlement. 15-year sentence. Marcus raged at me initially. Mom, you destroyed Claire's day. Claire devastated, questioning everything. They postponed honeymoon, sought counseling. But truth healed. Claire, Mom, you freed us from his hypocrisy. They renewed vows quietly in Shenandoah, family only. Claire left D.C., started education nonprofit. Marcus principal now. They had twins last year. Harold begs letters from prison. Ignored his power. Gone. Our family. Authentic, strong. Justice in D.C., but sweet.